Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page. It's Friday, the 16th of August, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, we get some more excerpts from the St. Kitts Nevis Sports Summit. And in our feature for this evening, Carl Tuckett gets international exposure. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back.
Taxes are the lifeblood of a nation. Feel good about what your tax dollars do in Nevis. As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars protect our environment. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen.
Well, I'm back, and we start with this item in general sports. Tonight we go back to the opening ceremony of the St. Kitts Nevis Sports Summit, and we also take in some excerpts from the training exercises. Coaches from the Sports Summit being held here at the Brownhill Hard Court. Could you tell us your name?
Good evening. My name is Dr. Joel Kerr. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm the founder of the Health Institute. I've been brought here to be part of the Sports Summit, which I'm super excited about. Student initiative with True Champs and obviously the island of Nevis. My role for the program is to prepare the children mentally and physically for sport. It doesn't matter what sport it is, they do need to be strong mentally, and they also need to have their body moving at optimal potential. So what we were doing just there was a dynamic warm-up. We started with calisthenic movements that started from the head all the way down to the toes, just to get the blood flowing, oxygen flowing, and more importantly, the nervous system aware of what it was prepared to do, which is to play sports, basketball in this specific situation. And then we followed it and ended it, with a flow. The flow it's based off of yoga. It's based off of traditional yoga movements. But at the end of the day, it engages the core muscles. It engages the shoulders, the wrists, the knees, the legs, the ankle. Basically, the whole body that isn't required to play sport. But more importantly, for these young people, it trains their mind. It makes sure that they stay focused, specifically when they're tired. And being focused is a huge problem across the board of everyone, no matter where you live, Canada, St. Kitts, Nevis. But with these young people, we're really trying to stress that their mental aspect of sport and life will determine their success.
There was a point where some of them were crying out for pain, and you gave them some advice at the end. What was the advice you were giving?
The advice was just to, yes, accept that there were parts of their body that were painful, but to embrace it. And the way that you embrace it, number one, is just to shut off a stimulus, which is vision. I ask them to close their eyes and I ask them to concentrate on their breathing. If you can do those two things when any stressful situation presents itself, you will do much better in life rather than freaking out. So that was the number one thing that I asked them to do.
So are you basically telling me that if you're on a boat and it's about to sink, if you do exactly that, it helps?
100%. Like, you do not want to freak out. Your fight or flight system is going to kick in naturally. But if you can gather your thoughts, gather your breath, you'll be able to think clearer and make a decision that is best for you, most likely to save your life if you're on that boat.
Finally, how have they been reacting to the coaching sessions?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I do find a lot of the children on the island to be super quiet, timid. That would be the best way to describe it. Shy. I feel like, I don't know, I would want them to be more oral, more communicative. If they're feeling something good, bad, it doesn't matter. But they just have a very monotone characteristics to them. I voiced it in my presentation to the kids there, but I don't think that's the best way to be. Like, you need to speak up. If someone is doing something that you don't like, you need to speak up politely, respectfully to an adult and to your peers as well. And if you do like something, show it. Be happy. Put a smile on your face. So that's something that I'm hoping that will get better as the week goes on. But right now, I really want them to understand that this is a great opportunity. They need to speak to us as professionals to ask us our opinion. And I guess I'm hoping that happens near the end of the week. I'm confident it will, because we're stressing that every day to them. Let's be happy, communicate, speak clearly, speak good and objective.
Well, thanks a lot, Doc.
Thank you.
My name is Jerome Smith. I'm here representing True Champs and All In Training.
Thanks.
I'm Josh Cardoza, the founder of True Champs, and excited to be here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Now, tell us some of the run-of-the-mill things that have been going on with you guys during this training session.
Well, we really focus on a lot of the athletes just to make sure that they're becoming a better athlete, more so and more importantly, a better student and character for the community of Nevis, and the country of Nevis. So We really wanted to show them what it would look like to be a professional athlete, how to train to be a professional athlete, but also to shape them to be a positive role model in the community.
And how have things been going, in your opinion?
It's been great. I mean, True Champ stands for True Character, Champion Mindset. So what we did is we assembled some of the best in different areas of expertise, from basketball training to health and wellness, physiotherapy, sports rehabilitation, people who have played at a high level in Canada, and myself who have done camps for the Raptors and NBA academies, things like that. So what we tried to do is bring the best of the best to give them experiences and create those opportunities for the kids here in Nevis. And it's been going really well. I think they've been really receptive. We've been trying to get them more vocal, more engaged, and they've been responding. So today was all about goal setting and leadership. And I think they're really responding well to our requests and getting more into the drills. And behind us, we have a special guest from Check My Athletics, Selassie. He's come down to help us out as well. And he's doing a lot of different testing with them as the rain comes down, but that's not stopping us right now.
Right.
Enjoy it.
We'll take this break and I'll be back with our feature for this evening. Well, I'm back, and tonight we feature this item in cricket. Our very own internationally renowned umpire, Carl Tuckett, recently completed a stint at the Global T20 tournament in Canada. I caught up with Carl Tuckett in a recent interview. Carly, first of all, good evening.
Thanks for having me, Curtis.
Let's talk a little bit about Mr. Carlton Bess. We recently heard of some sad news. One of your umpiring buddies throughout the Caribbean here, I think he's specifically from Trinidad, was murdered. That bit of news must have hit you pretty hard.
Well, I think it hit the umpire fraternity on a whole very, very hard. I've not been able to meet him in person, would not be able to meet him again. But
so you never did an umpiring stint with him?
Okay. No, because he just got onto the B panel doing the under 17, and I'm now on the senior panel, so
okay.
I haven't done a game with him, but it was unfortunate circumstances, really. Understand he was a really, really good guy, personally, and the way how he met his death was really, really
tragic,
heart-wrenching and tragic.
Okay, so of course we want to extend condolences from this medium to his family, and of course to the umpiring fraternity.
Yeah, condolences to his family from the Nevis Cricket Umpire Association, from the Leeward Island Cricket Umpire Association. God is in control. That's what we can say in these circumstances. God is still the greatest comforter. He's in control of this.
Nice. Now, Carly, let's talk about Canada. When you got that call up, how did that make you feel? Because it seems to be a pretty international type of tournament. So when you got that call up, what went to your mind?
It was a great feeling because you know from the onset now that you will be going to a higher level, because it's an international event which is being sanctioned by the ICC, so you know that is serious business. So it felt good getting the call to go off to this global tournament.
And you don't have to give us the details. When I spoke to Kimball Ward many moons ago, he didn't tell us the figures, but of course it took care of you well, financially and otherwise.
Accommodation and transportation. Really good.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there.
Uh-huh.
In terms of the actual matches though, it was nice to be umpiring with all these stars from all across the world. What was the feeling like? We ain't talking finals yet, we're talking matches.
It was a great feeling, especially you find yourself at center stage, front row, seat, as you would call it. Jimmy Neesham, who just played in the World Cup, in that World Cup final, now batting in front of you. Chris Gale, who has been a big player throughout these T20 franchises. I again, and seeing Narayan bowling to Gale, Russell to Nisham. At times you have to pinch yourself a little bit.
And I want
to
to
say
know this is real.
Yeah, you have to pinch yourself a little bit. Seeing
Nice.
that you have front row view, you're on center stage and billions watching.
Did that put extra pressure on you? Because, by the way, did they have a review system for this tournament?
No, they had it, but they didn't use it.
They didn't use
The
it.
DRS, but I think next year they will be
They'll use it.
using the DRS.
So did that put any extra pressure on you, knowing, hey, even my home fans in Nevis, because we saw some of it and it's still on YouTube. I don't know if you folks who are watching know that, but you can go back on YouTube now, type in Global T20 Tournament in Canada, and just look at Carl Tuckett umpiring these matches, you know. So did it put any extra pressure on you?
You always have these little butterflies, you know. You always have these little butterflies, but you have to get rid of the butterflies very,
Quickly.
very, very, very early. And I think playing give me that advantage, because you would also have to play in front of crowds like that.
before.
You would have an understanding how the players are going through their routine, preparing for. So the same thing basically for an umpire.
Okay.
And then you have that crowd atmosphere where you had to go through as a player. So I think that has helped being a player and be able to umpire in those tournaments.
Some decisions are pretty easy to make. Even for me, I'm not a learned umpire, but sometimes I see a guy back on his back foot, ball plumb, and it's easy picking. But then there's some decisions maybe a little dicey. Did you have any little dicey decisions to make in this tournament?
I don't think no decision on a whole is
easy.
easy as an umpire, especially with DRS, because sometimes you think that a man, from you see him get hit, you could shut your eye and
say
give it
so.
out. But then when you look, it might just
going
be
over the
bouncing,
stump
it
or
might
something.
just be beating leg
Sliding
stump, it might be just hitting outside off. So every decision you have to give it the same thought and the same thought process and routine and protocols and make a right decision. But well, I guess you're getting back to the finals where that.
But I ain't reached the finals yet.
I think I had a good tournament.
Okay.
I think I made some LBW decision which
Which
really
was
went down good. So all in all, I think decision making
was
good.
pretty okay.
Yeah.
What makes a difference though? I've seen some umpires, and even watching you at the Global T20, there's some umpires who you don't know till next year if you're out. You keep looking at them and that hand is not moving, and then eventually slowly it comes up. And then there's some umpires. What makes the difference between lightning yes and yes?
I think everybody have their own routine.
Style.
Yeah, and style. Some people want to have a couple of seconds to make the decision. Some people make their decision right off the bat, right away. But I think my style is to give it some thought. Take that couple of seconds to process the action and then give out. And maybe that could be the better way too.
Okay.
Rather than the players see you giving a decision right away.
Without giving
It seems to them that you didn't
You're so sure.
think about it and giving it. So at times they rather to see you having
Take a
some
little
thought,
time,
have a
think
little look,
about it.
and give you a decision.
A little aside, our manager for the Nevis Masters, Oscar Astro Brown, once told me a story. He was umpiring in a game. It was Brownhill versus some team. Let's say Empire, but Brownhill was involved. Astro is from Brownhill, and somehow he couldn't separate himself as the umpire from the fact that he's from Brownhill. So when the Brownhill bowler raced into bowl and hit the guy on the pad, Astro said that he was the one who shouted, "How is that?" And he's the umpire. Could umpires really get so embroiled in a game? If you're doing a Nevis game, for instance, you could see something like that happen.
There are some games that you can run away from because of the appointments and selection. But I've never done a Penniless All-Stars game. I've never done a game with Penniless All-Stars.
Deliberately, your choice.
I've asked the fixture secretary to because
There's a
because
personal-
I played so long with Penniless All Stars. Even if I make the best decision, the opposition would think. It's only
Some
one
bias.
time I could remember Virgil Brown. There was highlights, and I think All Stars was in a finals, and Virgil Brown was adamant that I should do, because he think that I'm more. So I should do the finals, but I still back away from
Backed
it
away.
because there are certain games and situations that you don't want to get involved with. But an umpire would do, I think, an honest job to hold its integrity, which is very important. You would, most umpire, I think, would, whether you're doing your home team, a Nevis game, Leeward's game, or whatever,
Yeah,
you
stick
would
to
try
your
to
standards.
be, integrity and try and give a honest job as much as possible.
Putting him further on the spot. You're umpiring. The batsman.
Still on the spot. I thought this would have been.
His name is Carlon Tuckett. Does that make a difference?
Well, I've given Carlon out like before in a Giant Malts high school game.
He didn't speak to you after that,
Against it was against the Gingerland Secondary School, one of those Giant Malts, and I had to umpire that game, and I gave him out.
Did he speak to you after that?
Well, maybe sometime after.
So
But I don't remember son. I don't remember son and thing when I'm
All you see
umpiring.
is the batsman.
Yeah, and you're a batsman and a bowler, and if you're
Okay.
out, you're out.
okay, let's go back to the Global T20. If you were to pick a wow moment, I saw one. My wow moment was Andrew Russell in the finals. But what was your wow moment from the whole tournament?
I think there was a
couple.
Yeah, it's hard. Van der Hursen, the South African. I think I have a lot of time for him.
Okay.
I think that is a name that we would see surface in international cricket in the next 18 months.
Okay.
I think he make batting. He destroy you, but destroy you easily. Very calm in destroying you. Play some proper
Not
cricket
a
shots.
Russell type.
No, but then hit the ball sweetly, time the ball nicely, plays nice on drive, would on drive you for six.
Wow.
With the other guys would hit you for six. He looks a good player. And then you said the Russell moment.
Yeah.
A couple of balls to
Make
really
that
bring the
latter
game
run,
back.
bring the game back.
And I think he just showed his worth. Not only that, but then when you look at the game, at one time the team looked as though he would have scored 230 yards, and he came back with the ball in the end, and Gale 100.
That was another wow.
Yes, I was on the field for that, and he played well.
Did you expect to do the finals? That had to be huge, Scarlett. I mean, how many umpires were there to choose from?
8.
And out of that 8,
Yes.
Carl Tuckett is the umpire, one of the umpires. How did that make you feel?
Really good, really good. I think I would have met one of my goals in that, because going to the tournament, I wanted to do the finals.
Okay.
And I think I was having a really good tournament. So when I got the news, it was the Wednesday. One of the selectors for the umpires saying that you would be doing the finals Sunday. Really good feeling.
You did a somersault.
More preparation started to go
Nice.
in earnest
Nice.
for this, because I know for such a global tournament it is going to be.
As we talk about preparations, how does an umpire truly prepare though? I mean, I've seen some umpires who probably would go down on the field, check the width between the stumps. Other umpires couldn't care less. I mean, and then maybe you do a little read up again on the rules. How do you personally prepare?
Well, it starts before that. Physically, you have to make sure that you're in physical shape, because especially these T20 game, you have to move fast.
Especially if there's a left-hand, right-hand combination.
You have to get into position fast, so physical training is very important. You have to make sure that you're up with your laws, and especially the playing conditions.
Okay.
Because the playing conditions, the laws hardly change. Every 2-3 years you may have the change of the laws, but the playing condition, because every tournament organizer could have their own playing condition, how they want their tournament to go. So you got to make sure that you're up with that, because say a Nevis Cricket Association T20 playing condition could be different to this global T20 playing condition. So you have to make sure that you're on top
You
of
know
it.
what's for
Because
that
at
particular.
time things would just pop up where you didn't. So you got to make sure that you're
on top of it.
yes, and then you make sure that you meeting with your colleagues, especially you're umpiring with people who you never umpired with before. Make sure that you get up to speed with them in terms of communication. What are we going to use in terms of our communication on the field, especially, and because that is very important. Making, at times you have to make decisions because you are 30 yards away.
Right.
So those things, and then go through, make sure that everybody's in sync with the playing conditions. So you have that meeting, preparing everyone to make sure that everybody is on the same page in terms of these.
Speaking of communications, there is a moment in the finals that I've heard some guys talking about, where you had to be firm about a particular decision. You want to talk us through that?
Still putting me on the spot. Well, I think the whole world saw it. It was a high full pitch delivery, but in a high full pitch delivery, umpire,
and you were the presiding
I
umpire.
was the standing umpire.
Right.
I was the standing umpire, and my colleague was at square leg.
Who normally calls
The square leg umpire, that is
his call.
his call, and so he cannot be saying one thing
And you say the
I'm
next.
at the standing and saying the next. Whatever he says,
He's the man in charge.
he's the man in charge of that, because they're telling you that ICC would have done some research, and the thinking is that the square leg umpire is in the best position
Okay.
to make those kind of calls.
And he said no.
He said no, so I had to go.
And-
Whatever.
and they were-
I would always go with my colleague.
And they were appealing to you.
And well, in the end, they couldn't get through to him, so they turned to me.
and you stood firm.
I had to, because I had to be there for my colleague and with my colleague.
But with guys bawling at you like that, how did it make you feel though? Like screaming at you literally.
Well, I know that I would have gone with my colleague, whatever
Okay,
my colleague.
whatever they
yeah,
did.
because I had to go with my
Had to go with
colleague.
the colleague.
Yeah, I had to go with my colleague. So really, whatever they were
Whatever
saying,
they're doing wasn't
yeah,
material.
because it's a decision where it's your colleague call.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And then there was the bum scare. Did you hear about the bum scare? I read about it. I don't know if you were at the field. A match was delayed
I was at
or
the field, but I
something.
don't think I was involved in that game. But
Okay.
I was at the field, and
Was that a scary moment though? Or people
No.
didn't take it too seriously?
I think I was third umpire, TV
Okay.
umpire for that game.
So was it a scary moment for spectators, for umpires? Or, I don't know.
Well,
How seriously did they
yes,
take it?
yeah,
They
very,
took it
very,
seriously.
very. Those things in those countries
take it
very
seriously.
seriously, and anything with bum scare, whether it's here or in Canada, they're going to take it very seriously, and so. Normally they
Evacuate the
yes,
pavilion and-
the security forces and the dogs and so forth would make a check of the venue early. That is a normal check for every day, even before.
Or even if there's not a bump
Yeah.
scare, that's a normal check.
Normal check.
Oh,
And
I
so
didn't know
I
that.
guess something that they wasn't satisfied with, and so they asked us to. When we got there, everything was in place, and go ahead and they asked us to evacuate, and everybody had to leave the stadium and go a certain distance away, and
Until everything was
until
cleared.
everything was cleared, and I think that game we played 12 overs or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kali, I want to say congratulations, because I have a saying. I normally say this: anything Nevis and me. So, once there's a Nevision excelling, I don't care which part of the world they're at. Once they're doing something good, I'm a happy man. Makes me. I almost feel as if I got part of the big salary. If you understand what I'm saying.
Let me get in trouble for a small salary. Curtis.
But I just feel good. So I want to congratulate you. And where do we go from here? What's the next goal? What's the next thing? Franchise the CPL or what? What's coming up?
I want to thank God for leading me in that direction of umpiring, because I could have taken other areas in cricket. Someone like Denzel Paris, who in my early part had me on his wings. The Nevis Cricket Umpire Association President Vincent Weeks, and our fixture secretary Oscar Astro Brown, and the whole umpires fraternity here in Nevis for their great support, sending me messages all the time, telling me they're supporting me, they're willing me on and so forth. So that was really good. And Basil Morgan, from Montserrat, the former international umpire, who's been a great support up to today, been a great support, and my family on a whole. And Nevis people, as you rightly said, that anything Nevis, you're going to get that support. And I felt that support from the Nevis people, from everybody from afar.
Nice.
And you need that, because at times it could get a little lonely, umpiring. And so the support was really great.
So what's next? CPL?
Well, CPL and...
You'll be doing games in CPL?
Well, no, I'm for CPL games in St. Kitts, yeah.
You want me to go somewhere with a placard?
No. But other things will be coming after, in terms of the West Indies board, and also the West Indies board for going with the selection and appointed me to go off to Canada. So
nice.
I'm very grateful for that, for that also.
Well, Carly, once again, congratulations. The whole of Nevis is proud, and as you say, we are willing you on. We are looking forward to that magical day when Carl took it. I can imagine how Rakeem Cornwall feels now, because the 22nd, he'll be stepping out. Hopefully, Sir Vivian Richards said that he hopes it's not a ceremonial selection, and that they didn't just pick him to attract the crowd in Antigua and then put him as 12th man. But I'm thinking Rakeem will be stepping out, getting his cap. That feeling has to be a nice feeling for Rakeem. I'm looking forward to the day. I don't know if umpires get caps. They don't get caps, right? I'm looking forward to that big day.
You get the ICC headband.
Headband?
To show that you would have umpired.
Well, we're looking forward to that day, Carly. And I'm sure that everybody will be tuned in if they can't make it personally when Carl Tuckett steps out to do his first test match. Looking forward to the day.
Thank you very much.
You dream of that day, right?
Thanks for having me. It'd be good to play international cricket and umpire at the international level. It will be really nice.
Well, Carly, all the best.
Thanks for having me
again. Well, that's our package for this evening and indeed for the week. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and a sacrifice. Have a good night and a great weekend.